All right, welcome back to KM6LYW Radio, the show about amateur radio or ham radio with an emphasis on digital or data modes, moving information back and forth over amateur radio. Reimagining radio in the information age. Hey, today we have got a new release of the DigiPi. The DigiPi SD card image, you put in your Raspberry Pi, hook it up to your radio, and gives you access to every data mode there is, all via your tablet or phone or even just a web browser. Let's talk about it this time on KM6LYW Radio. Yeah. Yeah. All right, welcome back. Yeah, it's the bumper music. Yeah, if it's the first time watching the show, it's kind of like, why is he playing the guitar? But I don't. All right, so what is the DigiPi? So ultimately, the DigiPi is an SD card image that you download from digipi.org. This goes to patrons of the channel. So, I mean, there's hundreds of you, so there's hundreds of DigiPis out there. You go out to digipi.org and you'll see the SD card image there. And there's a whole list of instructions for putting together your DigiPi, even some push to talk circuits. We'll talk about that a little bit, how to initialize it, how to make DigiPi yours. So ultimately, once you have the SD card image, you put it in a Raspberry Pi. So we've got one over here. Let me make myself a lot smaller. You guys don't need to see me. So we've got a Raspberry Pi 4. Normally I use a Raspberry Pi 0 to wireless, but hey, the Raspberry Pi 4 is available. Raspberry Pis are available again. So we've got the DigiPi in there right now. Right now it's running APRS TNC duty. And as you can see, it's hooked up to an overly priced radio, and a radio that doesn't have APRS, the ICOM 705. So the DigiPi actually gives APRS capability to radios that might not have had it originally. And yes, I'm looking at you, Baofeng. We've got DigiPi hooked up to you as well. This one using a push-to-talk circuit for the Baofeng. So I actually have some notes here to talk about. So what does this mean to you? So basically, like I said, it gives you access to every data mode there is. And if there's one missing, let me know. I'll certainly add it. So what are data modes? So the data mode is anything that isn't voice. Okay, so this is mostly you talking keyboard to keyboard to other users. It gives you the benefit of not having to listen to static all day. Also gives you forward error correction a lot of times, and really ultra low signal to noise ratio stuff. So you can reach stations a lot further out using digital modes, because the DigiPi is listening to all of that noise, not you. I mean, it has a much better ear than I do. That's not saying a lot, though. All right, so let's take it from the top. What modes does DigiPi actually cover? So DigiPi has a web management interface. That's what we're looking at right here. So all of the different modes, all of the different services. So up here you see all of the services, and these are things you can turn off and on. So these are the different things DigiPi can become. And down here we see some launch links, so you can actually interact with some of these modes with your web browser or tablet or phone, or maybe over Wi-Fi or Bluetooth. So once you get to the DigiPi, the first thing you want to do is click on Initialize. This is a browser-based setup. So you enter your call sign, your password, APRS password, maybe some WinLink information, your latitude and longitude, because for APRS, we kind of need to know where you are to make that work. AX.25 node password, you can make that up. And then if you've got an expensive USB connected radio, that's where you can do cat control and audio over a simple USB cable. You'd enter your rig number there, and it really supports any radio that's supported by HamLib. So look up HamLib and supported radios. There's hundreds of them. And again, these are USB controlled radios. So additionally, if you want to get your Baofeng online. I mean, the Baofeng isn't going to win any awards for reception, but you can turn it into like a digipeater. In addition to the Raspberry Pi, you're going to want an audio board or maybe an audio dongle. So under here, I don't know if you can see it. See how this is stacked? So you've got a Raspberry Pi 0 on the bottom. You've got an FE Pi audio board in the middle. And then on the top, we've got these cool little monitors. And DigiPi will drive these monitors as well. I put together a driver so you can see your APRS or whatever your status information is on there. So this also requires a little circuit to build, like your push to talk stuff. And if you go to digipi.org, there's a real easy circuit diagram you can follow. See if I can open it. So you can do push to talk and audio. This shows you how to connect all that stuff, and also how to make a a cat control cable or an audio cable for your particular radio. So it's really not that hard. Don't let this stuff frighten you. If you can do even most basic soldering, you can put one of these together. This audio board is available from Bud. There's a link to it. It comes and goes. The supply chain crisis has been a real issue, but last time I talked to Bud, which was a few weeks ago, he's getting these things in stock. Okay, so you can get these audio boards from Bud. Or maybe you can improvise another audio device. It'll use pretty much any audio device. And so back to the really expensive, the ICOM 705, which is a Raspberry Pi 4, and it's in TNC mode. You can see right there at the top. It says DigiPi TNC, but we also know that because the web management interface has a little green light next to TNC and APRS iGate. So right now, this ICOM 705 is a TNC and iGate, but we could just as easily make it an APRS digipeater. We could make it an APRS web chat server. That's something brand new. In fact, that's the new killer app for DigiPi 1.7 is APRS web chat. So you can chat with fellow operators with your computer and keyboard. Or your phone or tablet. So we've got Linux node services. There's a full AX.25 network stack in here. There's a WinLink email server in here. This works for packet. You can even make it work with an RDOT modem if you're using HF. So you can do an HF WinLink server. There's a PAT WinLink email client. So it has your inbox, your outbox. If you're into email and WinLink, you can do all kinds of email over amateur radio. No internet required. Rig control daemon, you don't really need to know what that is, but if you want to have all of your apps use the rig control daemon to control the cat control, changing frequencies, push to talk, you can certainly do that as well. And then there's the big four apps that I call these. These are kind of the GUI apps. So you're probably all familiar with FT8, that's super ultra low signal to noise ratio stuff. So you can make contacts all over the world and exchange call signs and signal reports. I don't understand the fascination in that. I really want to. I mean, it's really cool to go out to PSK Reporter and see how far you're getting. So above and beyond that, I'm dissing all the FT8 guys. No, FT8 is really cool. So slow scan television, so you can share images over the radio, pictures with other operators. And if you do it on HF, you can do it all over the world. It's just pretty cool. FL Digi is really a keyboard to keyboard mode. It implements every mode that isn't already listed here. So this is going to be PSK 31, Olivia. It'll even do CW, so FL Digi there. And then, of course, JS8 call, last but certainly not least, is kind of a variation of FT8, only you can actually send messages slowly to other users all over the world. And again, these are the big four GUI apps. And these will all display in your web browser, or they will display on your phone as if they were an app on your phone, assuming your phone's unlocked. So those apps will actually display on your phone. In fact, in my thumbnail, it shows the apps running in like my tablet and my phone here. We got FT8 on the left, and we got JS8 call running on a tablet over here. And you can do all of this from your easy chair. So all of your rig stuff can be here in your shack, or it's maybe hot, or on the other side of the house under your antenna, and you're in the easy chair using your tablet or your phone, operating FT8 or JS8, just in front of the TV, maybe with the XYL, getting some quality time with the XYL. She doesn't know, and I won't tell, right, that you're actually operating your radio from your phone over Wi-Fi or the network, all using the DigiPi, which is attached to your amateur radio. So right now, this is doing TNC mode. You can see the stations are rolling in. There's a couple of different modes for that display. You can see that it'll either display full screen or it'll display a list of stations that are coming in. So this will also become a digipeater if you want it to. And these buttons on the screen actually do stuff. So if I want to make this a digipeater, I can actually press this button. And it's the APRS Digi. Now it's a digipeater, and in a second you'll see it actually transmit its first beacon. There it goes on the ICOM 705. And now it's a digipeater. So now it's repeating traffic in your area. So this is a full-blown digipeater. I've got these running like for years, older versions of the DigiPi. Up here, I've got them in California, Nevada. There's a couple of these running. In fact, I just noticed there's a DigiPi running down in the Sacramento Valley. God, I wish I could remember your call sign. I'd give you a shout out. So yeah, DigiPis are out there running digipeater services. So right now that is a Digi. I can demonstrate a couple of these modes. Maybe I'll do separate videos at some point and do each mode in detail, how to fire it up, how to use it. I know some of you are really into WinLink, or some of you are really into FT8, and I can't really do these justice in a video that's under 20 minutes. And yes, YouTube says you guys don't like videos that are longer than 20 minutes. So I'm just going to demonstrate a couple of the modes here. Let me make sure I got this right here. So again, I'm just using any web browser. This could just as easily be in my tablet. Here's my tablet, for example, and it's showing DigiPi web management interface. It's all over Wi-Fi. So initially it comes up as a Wi-Fi hotspot. So you can use this as summits on the air, parks on the air. You don't have to have a Wi-Fi network, but certainly it helps. That way you can talk to it by name. Normally in the field, it would come up as 10.0.0.5, right? And then you can do all of this without any kind of internet whatsoever. But normally you can just set up your Wi-Fi password right here on the Wi-Fi setup screen. We already talked about initialize. So assuming you've already gone through this and entered your call sign, your APRS password, set up your rig, now you're ready to operate the DigiPi. So there's a couple of modes that are going to be interesting. The first of which, in fact, I can turn off the digipeater by clicking right there, and then the screen over here goes blank, as you might notice. The first killer app right now that I think, this is my opinion, because we just put it together, and this is something I've always wanted, was some way to talk to, I'm going to turn on, it's called APRS Web Chat, some way to just talk to other VHF radios, in your area, just keyboard to keyboard, maybe I'm going to type it out on my phone and say, hey Kevin, what's up? I'm on APRS, and just have it go through to their phone, right? Honestly, we've got to keep these digital modes interesting and relevant, to get the next generation of people into amateur radio. I think it's incumbent upon us old operators to get the next generation online. When was the last time you saw a kid actually talking on the phone like this, right? Never, ever do you see this. They're always texting, right? So I think these quick text modes, it makes it more like instant messaging apps and all using amateur radio. I think we're really going to attract the younger crowd. So APRS web chat is going to take us one step closer to that. So the web chat service is running. You'll notice it started the TNC automatically because it needs the APRS TNC to send packet stuff through our ICOM 705. And then down here, I'm going to click on the launch link for web chat. And this is going to open the web chat interface in our web browser. I put a little delay in there because you really should wait for the service to start before launching the little website. And here it is, APRS web chat. So it's as simple as it looks. So first of all, you can put your GPS coordinates in that initialize page. We did that. And first off, what I can do is send maybe I'll just send a beacon to let people know where I am. So I click there, you see it gets transmitted out the radio, and now I am on the APRS.FI map. The system knows where I am, so it knows how to reroute messages back to me. So APRS messaging isn't just, wire to wire. This is going through a network of digipeaters, many of which are connected to the internet. So I can actually, and I've done this, talk to other guys on the other side of the world using APRS packet radio. Now, the lion's share of the distance is accomplished through the internet, but both of the endpoints are actually RF and will go, horizon to horizon, right? At least on VHF. We can also do this on HF too. Okay, so that's a possibility. And if you've got digipeaters on your continent, you can do this all over the wire in that way. So we can just do something simple here. Let's say like WX. Let's see, WX bot is a popular one. This guy will give you the weather if you put in your zip code or something, 95614. And I'm going to go ahead and send a message of 95614 to a call sign called WX bot. And here it goes. All right, the message was sent. We can see it was transmitted. There's a little thumbs down right here. Now it turned into a thumbs up. That means we got the acknowledgement packet from the WXBot virtual radio. And of course, he replied with the message, and he is I am 5 miles east of Auburn, and today is sunny with a high of 88. You'll notice that blinked a couple of times too. So every time you see a packet come in as a repeat, it'll blink a little bit. So you're getting a lot of digipeaters in your area. Honestly, the more it blinks, the better. So that's WXBot. We just got the weather using nothing more than the DigiPi SD card image plugged into a Raspberry Pi, plugged into a radio, and we just got the weather for our area. And of course, WXBot will do forecasting and things like that. There's other cool virtual radios out there. One's called Repeat. Walt put this together. Walt's my partner in crime in a lot of this. In fact, I'm going to give Walt a shout out. Walt did a huge amount of development on this. He's taken this APRSD project that we work on. Look at my GitHub account, Krager L on GitHub. And it uses APRSD, which is the backend for this. So he just picked up the ball on the APRSD project and ran. So, and that's really Walt, WB4BOR. Thank you, buddy, for putting this together. So we're going to send a message called N space 2. That means the nearest to, this is basically repeater books, to a call sign called repeat. So I can say the nearest 2 repeaters, and I'm just going to hit send right now, and you'll watch over here. This guy's going to send. He sent it. we're watching the DigiPi. You can see the call signs going back and forth. You can see the local digipeater. You can see the red light comes on transmit. You see the messages coming back from the repeat virtual radio. And sure enough, the nearest two repeaters to my location are W6YDD. He's 5 miles to my east. And W6EK, the club repeater, represent guys, Sierra Foothills Amateur Radio Club, is 7.6 miles to my west. Unfortunately for me, through a lot of terrain, but yeah, I can usually push through it. So that's a great example. I can put any call sign in here. In fact, I've got the wife's HT right here. This is hers. She's KN6JYI, and I can send her a message to her radio. Let's say she's got the radio on here in the truck. So I'm just going to type in KN6JYI and say, hey, I'm going to say, I don't know, APRS test, I lack imagination, message over RF. Put an exclamation point in there. Now, this is on an APRS frequency waiting for stuff. So what I'm going to do, let's hold this up here so you guys can see it. And when the message comes in, it should light up and beep and do all kinds. Can you guys see that? All right, here we go. I'm going to hit send, and then we're going to send a message from this web interface using DigiPi, and we're going to send it to her radio. And sure enough, it beeped, it made a bunch of noise, it's flashing, and it sent an acknowledgement, which the DigiPi received. And the DigiPi will do the whole APRS protocol stack and stuff too. So it does the acknowledgements, the resending of messages. So the DigiPi web chat interface, and let's see if we got it here. So I know I couldn't really see it. Oop, you guys see that? There it is. There's our message. I don't know. Can you see it? And then we can also reply to it. So I'm going to just go here. I know you guys can't see this. I'm going to reply. I'm going to say APRS test. And I'm going to say reply. See, this is hard to type on. It's so much easier to use the web chat. But you can do it if you have to. APRS reply. And I'll put an exclamation point on there because, that's what kids do these days. And I'm going to go ahead and send this packet. And you're going to see it pop up on the APRS web chat screen. So there it is, APRS test reply. And we see we're getting a few repeats there. We got it. We sent full duplex. We sent messages back and forth to a radio from the DigiPi web chat interface. So that's I think the killer app for DigiPi 1.7 is this is brand new. I guarantee you no one has seen this yet. And this is only available on DigiPi and my GitHub account. So if you want to build this thing yourself, you totally can. Totally encourage it. Totally encourage hacking and pull requests. The DigiPi, it's called APRS-D on, actually there's a link to it right down here on GitHub if you want to get the web chat interface and just make your own implementation. If you're not a hacker, if you're not a programmer, just kick the Patreon account a couple of bucks and you will get the DigiPi SD card image from digipi.org. See all these shameless plugs? digipi.org. And then everything will just work right out of the box. We make this really accessible, make it really easy to use. So digipi.org to get that SD card image. So that is the web chat. And there's all kinds of other services. I could go on and on. Like if you want to operate the International Space Station, you can send a message to a call sign called next. And, I can send that. There it goes. Sending, receiving. And wait for that ACK packet, wait for that little thumb to go up. That means the virtual radio responded. And sure enough, we actually got the response before we got the ACK. So acquisition of signal is in 11 minutes. The space station is rising in 11 minutes. And we can totally operate the space station using this too and talk to other users, sending out beacons, and we'll show up on ariss.net. So I'm going to send another beacon. Just for fun, there goes the beacon, just transmitted. There it is. And then now if you go out to APRS.fi, you'll see us out there hanging out on the map. I think we're a little computer, if I remember right, or we're a digipeater. I don't remember. This is the digipeater icon. But anyways, we're on APRS.fi out there hanging out. And actually, the G-Town digipeater picked us up. So that's kind of a cool map too. APRS.fi shows you all the APRS stuff going on in your neighborhood. Okay, so that's the killer app for this, I think, is APRS web chat. Because no one likes typing on these little radios. It's just hard to do, right? It's like a 1990s cell phone. But with the web chat interface, you can do all of that with this. In fact, just to show you guys how this works. So is it better if I use this? I don't know, guys. Can you guys see this? Starting the web chat interface. And this is the web chat interface on a phone. You can type away here, pop up a keyboard, And, it's just so much easier to type on your phone. God, it's hard to see. It's too bright, I think. It's easier to type on your phone, than it is on these little radios. I'll just make this small again. Okay. So that is the web chat interface. Hopefully I haven't oversold that. Hopefully it works, right? Because this really hasn't been released yet. We've been testing the crap out of this. It's just been so much fun. You've got all these people we can talk to. In fact, Greg, I'm going to call you at KO6TH. I know you leave a radio on all the time. Testing for YouTube. And I'll give you a smiley face, and I'll go ahead and send that. All right, DigiPi is sending that out. You see it's transmitting and receiving. See my packet going out. Come back to G-Town. So what's interesting is there's a little thumbs up popped up right here, right? That means I know his computer at least got it. I don't know if he saw it or not, but I know his computer saw it. It sent me that ACK packet. Again, since we're talking about APRS, we can stop web chat now. This has been too much fun. Actually, I got too many browser windows open. I'm going to go ahead and stop web chat. But the TNC should stay up and running. And it does. We got the TNC still there. And again, you can do stuff like APRS Droid. I don't know if you guys have seen this. It's pretty cool. APRS Droid, and this will actually work over Bluetooth. So I can actually, this is my Android tablet. APRS Droid is running. And if you watch here, there's a little Bluetooth icon. When I do start tracking, the Bluetooth icon will light up. It just did. And now you can see we're getting all the traffic on our Android APRS Droid. So it works with APRS Droid as well, right? Over Bluetooth. So again, you don't need Wi-Fi. So this works on the mountaintop in the park just as much as it does in your home. And of course, you can do all of this stuff via your, you can do messaging and stuff here. In addition, you can do basic email over APRS, and you can do basic SMS texting over APRS through the SMS GTE gateway. So, it really makes this a communications powerhouse, not just for amateur radio, but, you can talk to real people as well. All right, I'm going to stop tracking there. So that's APRS Droid talking to the DigiPi directly, and I'll make this smaller. All right, so, I can demonstrate if I'm going to demonstrate one other thing, I'm going to talk about let's do WSJTX FT8, all right? I'm going to press on right there to fire up WSJTX, and you're going to notice the DigiPi has gone into FT8 mode. The radio just ticked. In fact, it just went into upper sideband on 14074. And so down here, we click on FT8. Okay, this is the launch link. And then the FT8 application is way too big. Reduce the zoom. FT8 application actually shows up in your web browser as if it's running in the web browser. It's actually running on the Raspberry Pi and displaying in your web browser. Again, remember, DigiPi only needs a Wi-Fi device or something, or it'll run in any web browser. And of course, we can actually see stations rolling in on my VHF antenna. Check. I'm gonna switch it over to HF. Okay, give me a second. All right, here we go. Getting on to HF. All right, now we're talking. I don't have tons of noise today either. It's been a beautiful day for HF radio. Of course, these LED lights aren't playing very well with it. And so here we are with FT8 running in our web browser. And it could just as easily be running in our tablet. Here's my tablet computer. If you want, you can get a VNC client. It's a little more ergonomic. Let me see if I can do this. That's not what I want. I'm not a good Android user. Let's go to Real VNC. I think this is set up for FT8. Okay. And here it is. Here's FT8 basically running on my tablet. I'm using Real VNC, and it's a little more ergonomic with the mouse and stuff. So here we are running FT8 in the tablet. Okay. I always tell myself I'm not going to do a bunch of radio operations. While I'm doing these videos. That's why they get so long. So I'm looking for someone with a decent signal level. Let's be honest. I am QRP, guys. So I'm looking for a CQ. I don't know. Is that a Russian call sign? Starts with an R? That's incredible. So we got good propagation today. So let me find somebody that has a decent, come on guys, turn up the power a little bit. Give us a chance, man. All right, here's W5LST. He's got a -3. We're gonna see how that goes. And then of course I'm going to enable the transmitter, and we are officially transmitting. We were. And we're waiting for the next frame to come in. This takes 15 seconds per frame. So this is ultra low signal to noise ratio operations. We're exchanging call signs and signal reports with stations all over the world. So I'm going to transmit on the next frame here. This is me transmitting. And again, this is all running on the DigiPi and displaying on my phone. I could just as easily be in my easy chair in the living room operating FT8 right now. So that went out. Okay, I might pause you guys just for a second to see, so you don't have to wait for each of these frames. All right, here they come. Let's see if he's responding. I don't know what is my power here. My power is 100%. That's screaming 10 watts. No, he didn't respond, so I'm sending another packet. But anyways, I can let this run for a while. So this is the DigiPi in a nutshell. A DigiPi version 1.7 is out and about, or at least it will be by the time you get this video. Just for some additional information, it will actually use the GPS in your ICOM 705. It can also be configured to use a GPS dongle like this, because for FT8, when you're on summits on the air, you need to know what time it is, right? You got to know what time it is. So the GPS will help you with that. This will run on any Raspberry Pi. So this is a Pi 3A. I've got it running here. This is a Raspberry Pi 02 wireless. This is hard to find, but I have seen them recently. Get these little screens on Amazon. It's in the build list. So these are like $12. Again, this is all the little stuff I said I'd tell you guys about it. And then ultimately it's a read-only file system, because I know everyone says, well, you need to shut down your Raspberry Pi properly, so you don't damage the file system. You don't have to do that. I'm giving you a instant power off guarantee. It will not damage your Pi, it will not wreck the file system, because it's a read-only file system. It's an appliance, okay? So if you get it all set up how you like here, working at home in the shack, and take it up to the summits, it's gonna work exactly like it did here at home, because it's a read-only file system. When you turn it on up there, it's gonna work just like it always does. If you do want to save your configurations, you can actually do save configs here. So let's say you saved a bunch of contacts in FT8. You just click on save configs and it'll save them. Let's say you changed radios and you went into the app and, you're changing the radio configuration up here. You make sure you click on save configs down here to save that information. Because again, if you don't save your configurations, it's a read-only file system. Next time you turn it on, all those changes will be regressed. So anyways, those are just points of interest there. Again, I cannot thank WB4BOR Walt in Virginia enough for putting together the new web chat interface. I'm going to put this out at digipi.org. And again, it's for patrons of the channel. The DigiPi includes every data mode that we discuss incessantly on this. Just a couple of bucks into the Patreon account gets you access to the DigiPi, and it gets you access to my email account so we can hang out and talk. Gets you onto Discord. We're still trying to put together a wiki and stuff too. I didn't get through to this guy. This guy's doing Voda. I'm sorry, guys. I always tell myself I'm not going to play operator. Let's talk to this guy. Unable the transmitter there. We didn't get through. And my antenna is kind of hanging loosely in the trees out back too. So bottom line is digipi.org is the takeaway URL, and somewhere I've got the list of patrons. These are the people who make this possible. So if it wasn't for you guys, none of this would exist. In fact, this channel wouldn't exist. It pays for all of this stuff. It gets me in this business. It gets me access to these Raspberry Pis and other radios. In fact, my favorite radio for this is actually this Yaesu 2980, because there's no moving parts, no fans, no push-to-talk relays, nothing to wear out. So if you're going to make a hardcore digipeater, that's the one to use. All right, patreon.com/KM6LYW, or just take away the URL digipi.org. And guys, I really got to thank you, Steve, Fu, Mark, Andrew, Brian. This is Brian, Jake, Chris, Ryan, Jim, Brad, Malcolm, Paul, Buddy, Brown. Thank you guys, Jeff, Scott, Harold, Ronald. There are so many of you now, I really can't read all of the names, but I guarantee you if you put a funny name in here, I will probably read it. I'd also like to thank Mr. King, that's Sofa King, for the Sofa King donation. Sofa King, that's great. I love the cause. I'm going to keep reading your names as silly as they are. So Jeremy, Dale, Bizadar, Greg, Victor, Peter Berger, thank you, Harris, Andrew, Paul, Sam, John, William, Jeff, Drew, DM. Come on, DM, we got to do, I read your name. How about S space P? Okay, I'll read that. Bjorn, thank you. William, Tyler, Shatz. There's so many people, all the way down to Mark Thompson. There's hundreds and hundreds of you. That means there's hundreds and hundreds of DigiPis out there, and we have a real community built around this. All right, so my name is Craig, call sign KM6LYW. I'm in California, and thanks for checking out DigiPi version 1.7 with me. I'm clear.